Hi, everyone. My name is John Coverdale. This channel is to help students in computer information systems. This video is a step-by-step guided tutorial for McGraw-Hill's SIMnet, PowerPoint 2021, in practice, Chapter 1, Independent Project 1-6. Today we're working for the imaginary Hamilton Civic Center, where workshops are offered to address fitness, health, and wellness issues. For this project, we are going to complete a PowerPoint presentation about walking for fitness and pedestrian safety. To complete this project, you're going to need to download a start file and also a resources file. I've already done that, so let's take a look at the resource file that I've downloaded. The resource file is a zip file, which means it's a file that acts as a container to store and share one or more files. On my computer, it has an icon that looks like a zipper going across a folder. It also, on my computer, you can see that it has the zip file extension, which is how I know it's a zip file. If your file looks different, put your mouse over the icon and you should get a tooltip that pops up that says something like type, compressed or zipped folder. And if you've got that, you can compare it to my screen. You know you have the right thing. Now at this point, just double-click this icon like you would a normal folder, and it opens like a normal folder. In fact, there's a folder inside of it. Let's open that. And inside of that, we have a total of 3 files. Now select them all either by doing what I'm doing, which is to hold down the mouse button and draw a magic box around everything, or you can select it by clicking one at a time, holding down the Shift key. Once you've done that, copy the files. You can use Control-C on the keyboard. You can use this button on the ribbon. You can also right-click and use the pop-up menu. Use your favorite method to copy them. Then go back to the folder that holds your starter resource file and your start file and paste. And that's going to copy those 3 files out of that archive into a place where you can easily get to them when you need them. Now let's take a look at what they are. We've got 2 pictures. We're going to be adding those to the PowerPoint presentation. And we have another PowerPoint presentation. I'll go ahead and open this up and we can take a look at it. Now, what we're going to do with this a little bit later on is combine this presentation that you see here into the presentation that we're just about to create. And this is kind of a realistic scenario because oftentimes when you're making a PowerPoint presentation, you may be collaborating with other people, whether it's other students in a class or colleagues at work. And so being able to take separate PowerPoint files and combine them together is a very useful trick to know. Now, in a second, we're going to be opening this file here that has your name on it and says PowerPoint 2021, Independent Project 1-6. But let's quickly take a look at the instructions first, just to see what they tell us to do. They tell us to open the presentation and click to enable editing. I'll go ahead and do that right now. And for some reason, it doesn't ask me to enable editing. This is pretty much an empty presentation. They just have one blank slide to get started. Going back to our instructions, we can check off step 2 because we don't need to rename the file. And step 3 says insert a picture, apply a design ideas layout, and change theme options. So let's go ahead and try that. We need to find the picture walk 1-01, and we want to insert that onto the slide. So let's go ahead and go back to our presentation and go to the Insert tab and look for Insert Pictures. Let's go ahead and use the drop-down menu and choose Insert Picture from this device. And when you do this, it's probably going to navigate to your Pictures folder on your computer. That kind of makes sense because that's usually where you find your pictures. In my case, it's going to the folder where I've downloaded these files. And the first picture that we need to use is called Walk 1-01, which looks like this. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to click on it one time. I'll click on Insert, and it drops that into my presentation right in the middle of the screen, which is usually not where we want it to be, but it's going to be something that's easy to move. In fact, PowerPoint, if you have the newer version of PowerPoint, will probably offer to help you improve the look of this slide by offering you some design ideas by automatically opening the designer pane here on the side. it says click the Design Ideas button if the pane does not automatically open. And then it says select the layout with the picture on the left and a larger area for title and subtitle on the right. I'm just going to go ahead and scroll down and look at that picture there of that preview and see kind of what this is probably going to look like here. So let's go ahead and choose that one. And to do that, we can go ahead and click on this one right here, I think. Let's click on that. So it moves and arranges the picture and sizes it appropriately. We can close the Design Ideas pane. If you have trouble using the Design Ideas, just go ahead and arrange the picture using the mouse to make it look approximately like this. I'll go ahead and close the design pane here. Change the theme font to Arial Black and Arial. Let me show you what that means and how to do it. I'm going to go back to PowerPoint here. On the Home tab, if I click on my text, you can see that my theme font here, if I pull down the font menu, says Theme Fonts, Calibri Light and Calibri. Calibri Light is going to be used for all the headings, and Calibri is going to be used for things like the bullet lists and other things. In other words, the body of everything that's on the slides, not the heading. We're going to change that so that by default, every new slide we create is going to use Arial Black and Arial. And so let me go ahead and close this drop-down menu because this is not where we're going to change this. We need to go to the Design tab, and the most difficult part of changing your theme fonts is finding the correct place to do it. So this is where you're going to find it. Now, here we oftentimes have different color variants, light and dark color schemes. There's really nothing here now, but if we pull open the drawer, we have a few things where we can change the font scheme and also the color scheme and the effects for things like diagrams and so forth. We are interested in changing the fonts, and so I want you to open the font flyout menu and scroll downward. Notice we've got Arial and Arial. We don't want that one because that is using regular Arial for both headings and body. We want to find down here somewhere where we're using a combination of Arial Black and Arial. Notice Arial Black is very heavy and bold. A black font is the heaviest and boldest variation of that font. So when you see a font that has the name Black appended to it, it's always going to be like extra bold. Let's click on that. If I click just in a blank area here to deselect my title box, you can see that the placeholder text for my title is now very bold. Let's go back to the Home tab and take a peek inside the font menu, and you can see that now the theme fonts are Arial Black for headings and regular Arial for body. So this is a way that you can use PowerPoint, and when you first start creating a presentation, decide what kind of fonts you want to have, traditional, modern, whatever it may be, and use those as your theme fonts, and then every new slide you make will have the fonts that you want. And that way you don't create a 50-slide presentation where you have to go and change the fonts for the title and the lists and other things on every single slide. Setting up your theme fonts with the fonts that you want can be a very powerful time saver. Okay, let's go and see what we're going to do next. We changed the theme font to Arial Black and Arial. Let's go to slide 1 and give it this title. I like to copy and paste. I'm going to copy this text here, Pedestrian Safety Matters. Click that for my title, and I'm going to use the Paste drop-down tool and keep text only. I don't want any of the font characteristics from the web page with my instructions to come into my presentation. For the next thing I need to get, it's going to be this text here, keeping that New Year's resolution to be more active. I'm going to copy that text and click here to add a subtitle and use Paste, keep text only to paste that text right there. Okay, so I can check off step 4. For step 5, we're going to adjust the text. It says select the subtitle placeholder and change the case to capitalize each word. Notice that they have done that here in this sample. A lot of times for titles and subtitles, you will want to capitalize everything like it's a book title. Pedestrian Safety Matters is capitalized. I'm going to click the wireframe container, which is another way of selecting all the contents of what's inside that text box or that container. And I'm going to use my big A, little a button here, which is the change case tool, to capitalize each word. And so it's going to capitalize the first letter of each word in that container. Keeping that selection, I'm going to change the font size to 24. So I'll use the drop-down menu for that. And because I do have the whole container selected, it should change all the text. We're going to change the subtitle placeholder by moving it up and choosing Align Left. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Here's the Align Left button in the paragraph zone on the Home tab. I'll click it. And then because I've selected the container, I'll just use these arrows on my keyboard to move that up, straight up, so that it's a little bit higher, kind of like what they have in their example. I'll take the title placeholder and align that left, and then also make all the text be 60 points in size. Okay, so I'm going to click on this container. Now you can select the text by highlighting over it, or you can click on the container itself to select the wireframe. And when you do it this way, like I'm doing, the wireframe goes from a dotted line wireframe to a solid line wireframe. That tells you you have this container selected. I think they wanted this to be 60 points, if I'm not mistaken, and also aligned left. And they finally tell us to select both placeholders and align them on the left. And by that, they mean align them to where their left edges are aligned towards each other. So if I had, for example, let me get back to PowerPoint. If I had moved this up and I'd gotten it, kind of off in the corner like that, what I can do here is I can click on this container, hold down the Shift key and click on the second container. I now have two containers selected here. I'm going to go to the Shape Format tab, and on the Align tool, I'll choose Align Left, and that will snap these together so that they're stacked with the leftmost edge of both objects aligned to each other. So I'm going to do that, and I'll take a look at this, and I think that's pretty good. It's pretty close to what they've got on the sample. So now we get to step 6, and it says to reuse slides from another presentation. And this is where we're going to reuse the slides that came in those resource files. Now, one thing that we could do, and that I might do in real life, is I might open that presentation and click on the individual slides in the other presentation and use copy-paste to bring copies of them over. But I'm going to show you a different technique. I think it's a more powerful technique. It's especially helpful when you have two fairly large presentations to combine, or when you want options about which order you're going to be bringing things together. So let's do it with the technique that they want us to use, which is to go to this button here that says Reuse Slides. And it's going to open a side panel here, and it has a list of some of the presentations that I've worked on fairly recently. And so what I want to do here is hit the Browse button and find the file that they gave me. Pedestrian Safety 01 is the file I want to use. So let me go ahead and highlight that and choose Content. And so now it's going to show me little previews of each one of these slides here. Okay. So what I want to do, I'm just going to verify that they want me to use all of the slides. It says deselect use source formatting. Okay, we'll do that, and then I'll explain why we're going to do it that way. We're going to use all the slides apparently. So here's what we're going to do. At the top, it says use source formatting. Very important, uncheck this box. These slides don't really have very much formatting. We want to keep the formatting that we've started to build here in this presentation for all of the new slides. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click underneath slide 1 just to make sure that these slides are going to be added after my title slide. And I'm going to click one time and one time only on each one of these slides. Each time I click the slide, it adds it to the presentation. So kind of be aware of what you're clicking here, and don't add anything more than once. And once you've done that, let's go ahead and verify that the slides are going to be in the correct order. So I've done this and this. Before we go any further, I want to just make sure I have one copy of each slide. I've got this slide that we started with. Take a walk, wear the right outfits, use caution, respect your surroundings, and increase your visibility, a total of 6 slides. If I've done that, I think I should be able to close the Reuse Slides pane here, so I have more space. And we're going to go to slide 2 and just kind of clean up a few things on this slide and some other slides here with some typos and misspellings. After that, for step 9, we're going to rearrange these slides here. So we want to make sure as we get into this that we do have 6 slides. We'll get the order of those slides adjusted in just a little bit. On slide 2, we're going to find something to fix there. Click on that. It says, obey laws and regulations for pedestrians, and then guard against careless or aggressive drivers should really be on its own bullet point. And so put your mouse right in front of the word guard, click there to get the blinking line right in front of the G and hit enter one time. It becomes a new bullet point. Let's go back to slide 1. And they say, click the spelling button to find and correct these spelling errors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Let's go ahead and start on slide 1 so that we're doing it together. And let's see, is that going to be on the review tab? There it is, ABC spelling. Let's go ahead and click that. It opens up a side panel called spelling. Pedestrians is not a correctly spelled word. And notice that it has the red squiggly underline underneath it. Microsoft Word does the same thing. And that's another way that you can correct misspelled words on the fly. We're just going to go through and give this presentation here a pass. Somebody gave it to us. They left some mistakes in it. We're going to fix it all at one time. So pedestrians is incorrect. Always make sure that you're choosing the correct solution to a misspelled word here. Change. Aggressive, let's change that. Remember should be changed. Traffic should be changed. And again, regardless should be regardless. And then cloudy, we want to choose the third one here. It should be visibility is reduced on cloudy, rainy days. So I'm not sure even what cloudy is. We don't want it. Let's go ahead and change that. It'll fix it. It'll tell us the spell check is complete. I'm going to go back and click on slide 1 just to get back to the beginning. And we can check off on step 8. Okay, adjust the slide order as follows. And for this, I'm going to go ahead and switch into a slide sorter view. Let's go ahead and switch our view into the slide sorter view. You can do this in a couple of different ways. One way is to click this little button down here at the bottom right corner of your screen. It looks kind of like a 4 rectangle. You can click that. You can also go to the View tab and click a similar button here that says Slide Sorter. This makes it very easy to drag and drop the slides in the correct order, and the correct order is Pedestrian Safety Matters comes first, Take a Walk comes second, Respect Your Surroundings is going to be slide 3, Wear the Right Outfits is number 4, Increase Your Visibility is number 5, and Use Caution is number 6. Take a moment to make sure that you get these into the correct order. If any of these are out of order, the grader gets very confused and takes away lots and lots of points. It can be very startling when you get your grade, even though your presentation could be virtually perfect. If things are not in the right order, you will not get a very good score. Once you've done that, let's go ahead and go back to normal view, and I'll go back to the Home tab. We're going to add a footer with the text, Pedestrian Safety Matters, and I'm going to copy this without the period. I don't think they really want the period to be included. And it says apply to all slides except the title slide. Now, there's something kind of different about the way that footnotes are handled in PowerPoint. And I want to explain it to you so that you know which footnotes we're really going to be changing here. And to show you what I'm talking about, I'm going to go to the File menu and hit Print. And I'll just switch this to the PDF printer so that we can see what the slides would look like in color here. You can do the same thing. Don't print the slides. You don't want to waste a lot of ink to print these slides out. But if you choose the Adobe PDF printer or the Microsoft Document Writer, you're going to be able to see what these would look like when they were printed. Now, when you go to print slides, the default, the standard way of printing is to print one slide per page, and the slide is huge. And really, it's very rare these days that anybody prints their slides like that. The reason why PowerPoint defaults to this is that people used to not have projectors that they could hook up to a computer. They used to print their slides on clear pieces of plastic that they would put onto an overhead projector, the kind where the light shines up, hits a mirror, and shines on the screen. So that's what people used to print. It was kind of cumbersome compared to having a LCD projector. But other things that you can print would be, instead of all slides, you can print, instead of full page slides, you can print handouts, like, for example, little thumbnail pictures of your slides. And you've probably gotten these from somebody like a teacher. There's a few variations. I keep clicking the wrong thing. I want to choose what I'm printing. 6 slides horizontal. How about 3 slides with some places to take notes? Maybe you've seen that. Finally, here's another one. We can print a notes page. And what that would have is a slide and then a place for typing notes. And so I'll show you where the notes would come from. But if you wanted to have that, if you were giving a presentation, you could print this out, put it at the lectern, and then have behind you the slide projected on the screen, and you'd have your notes and a snapshot of that slide to refer to so you could know what people were looking at. Okay, those are different things that you can print, and things like this notes page, things like these handouts, they can have footnotes, like here's the number 1 at the bottom of this page. But the slides themselves can also have footnotes, and that's the kind of footnote that we're looking to fix here. And so I'm going to go back to my normal workspace. I'll just click on this word down here at the bottom of the screen that says Notes, and I can show you that there's a workspace down here where you can click to add notes, and this would be a place for the person who's giving the presentation to put a script, put some details that they could refer to with those notes handouts when they were giving the presentation. We'll come back to seeing more how this can be used in Chapter 3 of PowerPoint. But for right now, just to see what we're going to do, we're going to add footer with pedestrian safety matters. And to do that, I'm going to go to Insert, and I think there should be a header and footer button. Yes, there it is right there. I'm going to click that. And so here we want to make sure that we choose the tab that says the slides header and footer. And so we're going to check the box that says footer, and we're going to paste or type pedestrian safety matters. We need to capitalize each word. We're going to check don't show on title slide, and then we're going to hit apply to all. Okay? And so when we do that, what's going to happen here is nothing happens to slide 1, but slide 2 has right here pedestrian safety matters. Now, this particular design takes the footer, puts it sideways on the edge, and a lot of times PowerPoint presentations will do that, even though a footer is traditionally at the bottom. That's okay. Well, let's go ahead and check off that we've done step 10. Let's go to slide 6 and insert and position a picture. It's going to look like this right here. Slide 6 is our last slide. So let's go all the way to the end. This slide says use caution. Let's go to Insert. That's our tab. Let's go to the Pictures dropdown, choose this device, and we're going to choose Walk to 01 JPEG and hit Insert. It puts the picture right there in the middle of everything. It says don't use the Design Ideas pane. Close that if you need to. For me, it opens, so I'll go ahead and close that. The Designer pane. Goodbye. Move the picture to the upper left corner of the slide like they've done here. And we're just going to move it to there. And I think they've got it to where it covers up this little yellow triangle. So I will do that. I will cover up that triangle. After you do that, we're going to apply the push transition to all of the slides. So let's go to our presentation. It doesn't matter which slide you do this on because we're going to apply it to all the slides. We want to go to the Transitions tab. Transitions are how one slide morphs into another, and you can have no transition like we have right now, or you can have a whole bunch of different ones. We're going to be looking for one called Push. Here it is right here. Click on that. It previews that, and you can see that it pushes, the new slide pushes the old one up. Now, if you look where I've got my mouse with some circles floating around it, this little shooting star tells me we have a transition on this slide right here. Let's go ahead and see what kind of effect they want us to use here. They say use the from right effect and do this to all slides. Okay, so the effect options is a button that is going to be to the right of the drawer where we open up and choose our effect. So we'll choose push. And for push, these are the choices that we have. We're going to choose, was it from right? Let me find out. Yeah. So we're going to choose from right. I'll hit preview to see what that looks like. Okay, and then I'm going to hit apply to all, and that is going to apply that transition to all of the slides. And so now you can see that every one of our slides has a shooting star icon next to the slide number. Preview the transitions in the slideshow view. So slideshow view, you can go to the View tab and click on, well, actually, can you do it here? I guess maybe you can't. You can go to slideshow view down at the lower corner. It looks like a little icon of a projector, the kind of projector that you pull down in a classroom. So you can click that button and you can start your presentation at slide 1. But you can also hit the F5 button, which will start your presentation from the very beginning. And so I can do this and use the space bar to move ahead. If I want to go back, I can use the backspace key. I can also use the arrow keys to navigate this presentation. Once I get all the way to slide 6, I should see that each slide has a transition, and at the end, it always gives you a black screen or a blank slide, just so that you have a blank screen, brings the focus back to the person giving the presentation. Maybe they do some questions and answers or something like that. Finally, we have one last little thing to do. We're going to open the properties of the presentation and insert the following properties on the Summary tab. So let's go to the Properties dialog box, and the title of this presentation is going to be Pedestrian Safety Matters in the metadata for this presentation. Okay, so here is the properties. I'll go ahead and click Show All Properties just to see everything here. And we're looking for title, a slide, there it is, PowerPoint presentation, kind of a generic title. Let's type in there or paste Pedestrian Safety Matters. The subject of the presentation is active lifestyle. Let's copy that and find where it says subject. Specify the subject. Let's paste active lifestyle there. And finally, the author is Anna Lorenzo. So let's put her name there where it says add an author. I'm going to paste her name right there. It says it couldn't find the person I'm searching for. That's all right. But it'll put her name there anyways. She's not in my address book because she's pretend. Once we've done that, let's go back to the Home tab. Back to the Home ribbon. Click the circle arrow, and you can close the Properties dialog box and save the presentation, upload your file, and submit it for grading. So I will do all those things right now. Going to the top of the page, I'll upload my file, and there's the file I want to upload. Let's send it up to SIMnet. And very good, that is 100%, so I got through this project without making any mistakes. If you followed along with me, go ahead and submit your file and see how many points you've got. I hope it's 100% as well. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it was helpful to you. If you have questions, ask your instructor, and we'll see you for the next chapter of PowerPoint. Have a great day.